Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. Now I'm a bit late with these war videos, but there is a very good reason for it. Because arena challenges were a thing and I jumped my head in first, doing all of those, smashing them out in about 50 hours. And this war against GT40 was happening as the challenges were live. So my alliance, knowing that, and that was like very nice of them, deliberately gave me less fights and made it easier war for me. So I wouldn't be too disturbed. They actually never asked for anything like that. It's just that this was the war where I only ended up doing 3 fights, and it, can't be a coincidence. So either way, for this war against GT40, this is war number 3. Then the next one is going to be against Made in Brazil, war number 4. So here I am using Archangel, Human Torch, and Mole-Man, and let's get to it. So as I said, I only had 3 fights. Section 1, I basically had to do nothing, except wait for a pre-fight to be placed on Kingpin, which I didn't. And I thought it was on, but it wasn't. So I'm gonna get wrecked here initially a bit, eating that heavy attack. But it's all good. I had indestructible boost on. So now, without a pre-fight, I just block bait the heavy attacks and, make that an easy work. So it's not too bad of a fight here with Archangel. Archangel absolutely destroys it. Obviously, initially, I still need to keep an eye out for the power snacks and the backup recovery if it gets to it, if I don't have neurotoxins on. But once you kind of get those neurotoxins going, the entire fight becomes quite easy. So I have first neuro on here. There I kind of hesitated a bit too long. Luckily, I didn't get punished for it too much. Now we have 4 neuros. There's absolutely no chance anything can trigger, nodes or otherwise, so I don't need to worry about the global node either. Backup recovery, try to regenerate him, but obviously Archangel shuts that down as well. And we can see the Kingpin being absolutely melted down here at this point, and I'm just kind of casually chilling, waiting for him to stack up those poisons, and the fight is over. Nothing too much to stress about. This fight's actually going to be much messier now. I have this Spider Ham to do, and I'm doing this fight. Oh, this fight is not unstoppable armor fight, so it's not too bad. It's a very easy fight with Mole-Man, but I'm gonna make a mistake here. I'm gonna think that my frenzy is activated when it won't be. So at this point, I think that frenzy is already active, but it isn't. So I do the intercept, I go for damage, and I'm like, what's happening? Why am I not doing any damage? And I'm like, oh, right. I did not activate the frenzy. So I think he's actually going to corner me here at some point, but it's okay. I just want to bait out that special attack. I think I'm going to push him to level 2 and take it on a block. It's a very easy fight, very hard to kind of like mess up completely. So he didn't want to play with me well there, so I just push him to level 2, and now I'm going to go in for a full home combo with that Fury still active, and job's done. So it's much kind of slower and messier fight than it should have been, but Mole-Man is such a perfect counter for that piggy. Now this last fight I am doing after the boss is down, so I don't need to worry about the unstoppable armor. I'm going to boost up my Human Torch a bit, activate the pre-fight so he never shrugs them off. But going in, I already kind of had the plan of never really purposely intercepting it, because I knew that the longer the fight goes, the more damage I'm going to be doing. Now, I do mess up parry again initially. After the update, first 2 days, I struggled with parries a lot. That kind of messed me up in a couple of Korean challenges as well. I kind of had a feeling that opponents recover much quicker after I finish my combos, or sometimes get up much quicker. And it was most noticeable in my Dr. Octopus run, where, I just couldn't seem to land a parry. But that was also kind of evident here. But yeah, at this point, we have gotten quarter of his health down. He is slowly but surely gaining his own charges. We can see that my actual hits do 0 damage due to protection and Sasquatch's innate protection, but now he has entered Wrath of Tanarak. Obviously now I just need to kind of wait it out, be patient. I built up to my level 3 on purpose, just in case I get kind of like cornered and in a tough position. But I have 17 smolders here at this point, and building up a few more. So now I can just go in, take few more hits on a block, get some more smolders, and at this point we're already doing a lot of damage. Now, if I just landed an intercept, I could have nuked this fight, down much quicker, but I decided to play it kind of like better safe than sorry type of way, because the time factor was not relevant in this war anymore. We were not going to be faster than our opponents at this point. So I figured you know, I'd rather take longer if I have to than try an intercept where I might fail. I think I'm going to land an intercept towards the end when it's not really going to matter anymore. But as far as this fight is going, you know, he's at 20-some% and I have 30 smolders. It's almost feasible that even if he just kept hitting me at this point and, you know, I lost absolute control of this fight, I'd still likely be able to come out on top of it. Because of how much damage he's going to be taking from those incinerates. So there I did get that intercept towards the end, but it didn't matter. Unfortunately, we did end up losing this war by 1 death. This was a very close war, and, you know, it feels bad. It was our first loss of the season, but, you know, well played GT40. They're a very, very strong team. They have won back-to-back seasons, so, you know, it happens. Want to rematch them. Hopefully we're going to win in a rematch. But on a personal note, again, it was a very straightforward war. 3 fights with 3 different champions. No potions needed. Very good for me. And now next war is against Made in Brazil. Another very strong, capable Masters level alliance. And this war I am taking a bit kind of more active, more serious role. And I'm going to be on path 4 in section 1. And the first fight is the Thing fight. The Thing fight there is actually quite scary. Because, you know, it's the Thing, and there's going to be tons of debuffs that are going to be reducing my ability accuracy. Plus, he is unstoppable armor defender, so he can go unstoppable besides his own innate abilities there. And we're going to see here my initial parry fails due to reduced ability accuracy to heal block, but there I shrug off my abilities. I apply slow, and, you know, as soon as slow is on this fight, thanks to Shang Chi mechanics, we can make sure that the slow is going to stay there pretty much the entire time. And I can purify all of the debuffs that I will be getting. Don't need to worry about the unstoppable. I just want to bait out his level 2. And after that's done, I have activated... No, I actually didn't activate the skill boost for this fight, but there was no particular need. Drop a level 2. That does plenty of work. And the Thing is going down just fine, just well enough. And... obviously, protection is still mitigating the damage, but by the looks of it, it isn't really a super high sig thing, because even when protection is on, I'm still managing to do plenty of damage. So that's always a nice, pleasant surprise when you get to face a Thing that doesn't have a high sig level in Alliance Wars these days. So Shang-Chi does this fight super easy. Probably the best counter for most of the fights on that lane, that path, because you get rid of all of the debuffs on demand, basically. And now we have Null, and the plan against Null is fairly straightforward. Dr. Doom, he's armor break immune, so I don't need to worry about that bit. Now I do need to keep in mind the bubble shield and how many hits I take in a block, and he has power focus 1, and with power focus 1, Null is actually a bit tricky, because you do not really want him to use his level 1s like ever, because then, you know, reverse controls come into play and everything else. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of reparrying a lot, holding my block up, so he hopefully does not use his level 1, and I'm just pushing up to my level 2s and, you know, having fun with that. Dropped a decent level 2 here myself. He's only at 20% health. Now, I do need to be careful again. I only have 9 hits. I have 9 hits on my bubble shield, but I finish out the fight before it kind of really matters. That's it for my section 1 that I had to do the first evening, because I needed to place a pre-fight on that Kingpin. And now my section 2 fights. And these are, well, I'm kind of going to like it. I think I probably should have used Shang-Chi for one of the fights, but I ended up using Dr. Doom. But they will go well enough, I would say. This one fight's quite interesting against Gladiator Hulk. I think it's a quite cool placement. And it was also tricky to understand whether the slow debuff will work on this fight or not, because he has that node that makes him immune to ability accuracy reduction. But when we're actually going to get to the fight, it's just going to be, you know, quite silly fight with Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi kind of reminds me a bit of Corvus in War, with those guaranteed crits on level 2s. And when you get to, you know, your level 2s and you use power boost, then we can see that I'm pretty much always back up at another level 2. So I'm just going to bait out his special and just go for my second level 2, and job's done. That fight was incredibly quick. Absolutely loved it. We can do a quick replay there. So I'm just building up a few strikes, resetting, obviously applying that slow, so I shut down their weight and everything else. And now that I'm at my level 2, that puts me back up at another level 2. He used his one, and I'm ready to drop mine. So easy, so fast, so simple. Shang Chi is one of the more enjoyable champions in War, I think, because of that guaranteed level 2 power back boost. It's just good times all around. Next up, I'm going to have Hercules. I actually had to be a bit more careful about this fight because of the node where he gains power if I nullify his return policy. It's called the node. So whenever I'm going to nullify any buffs, he is going to gain power. And obviously I can't put him in a doom cycle either because he's going to be stun immune. So I do need to be aware of those things, and I can't really push him to level 3 because of it. Otherwise, I can be a lot of trouble. So there are some things to keep in mind throughout this fight. So again, I don't want to push him 3 bars of power like you normally would do in Doom Cycle. And you can't put him in Doom Cycle because he gains stun immunity as long as he has at least 1 charge. So I keep an eye automatically always how many charge he has. I try to get rid of them as quickly as possible. Now, also my offensive ability accuracy is reduced due to Infuriate, so I'm kind of trying to wait that one out before I do anything else in the fight. Now he's at a bar and a half of power, that should be fine. I'm gonna activate my level 3. And there's another kind of trick that you can use fighting Hercules to bypass his immortality completely, and that is to finish off the fight with level 3. Because obviously, as we all know, Kabam changed it, where immortality does not activate with level 3s. We all suffer for it a lot of times offensively, at least I know I do, because we like to go ham with Hercules and try and nuke down the opponents. If they get to level 3, then we are dead. But the same applies when we're fighting against Hercules and when there might be some issues nullifying that immortality or anything of the sort. So we just need to make sure that we finish the fight with a level 3 and the immortality will never trigger. So fairly straightforward there, and just a way how to avoid that last annoying bit. And then my last fight in a war, I believe, was Juggernaut. I should have probably used Shang Chi for this one. So he has passively special 3, prowess build up, and hard knock life. So I can't parry too much, or my parries will start failing, and I'm going to take a lot of block damage. And he is a global defender, which means that he can go unstoppable whenever that unstoppable armor triggers. But at the same time, it's Dr. Doom against Juggernaut, and we can still stagger plenty of his buffs, feed our Mystic Dispersion, and just have overall amazing control of the fight. And it's not like block damage is the biggest concern also when you are using Dr. Doom. So here I just need to kind of keep my eye out, check how and when he's using his special attacks, not the biggest problem. Drop a nice heavy, gonna go for level 3. Again, I probably should have waited a bit here because I was keeping an eye on Unstoppable Armor Timer the entire time. So I play this fight kind of like a lot more passively than I normally would do. Doom is still very good for a lot of fights where Unstoppable Armor is involved, but nothing Doom does can really stop or prevent it from triggering. Like we can see here that he went unstoppable. Even though you stagger the buffs, Unstoppable will still trigger. And even though you might, nullify the armor ups, Unstoppable is still going to stay there. So it's always important to keep in mind that opponents can go unstoppable. But yeah, Doom is Doom and the fight is done. So maybe I should have used Shang Chi. And the results. As I mentioned, we did not win against GT40. However, we did win this war fairly comfortably. So we are 3-1 currently in the season. And I have stopped dying. My start of the season was fairly rubbish, but now I feel much better overall. So we have kind of regained composure in war, and hopefully we have a great rest of the season. And that being said, a small footnote, my channel just hit exactly 40,000 subscribers, so I wanted to say once more a huge thank you to every single one of you for watching my videos, for supporting the channel. I wouldn't be able to do this without you. Obviously, I do not take a single one of you for granted, and I truly am grateful for all of you being here for me, allowing me to do this, basically. And yeah, not much I can say about that. Thank you. And I'm gonna catch you guys soon. See ya. Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about